Welcome along. It's the Filibusters show here on the show here. You can text us, you probably can't. You don't even have the telephone. You don't even know. It's going to get here. It's going to get here. Ryan here. Oh God Almighty.
Hello and welcome to the Filibusters Comedy Hour. I'm here with John Spillane.
What up, everybody?
And we've been abandoned today again, so it's just us. But we're all they need, John.
Exactly. I think this is the most star-studded lineup we've had. I felt that Stephen and Donnacamp, especially combined, counted as negative stars. And without that burden, most star-studded lineup we've had so far.
They just hold us back. We'll be honest with it. They just hold us back.
We're the Filibosses and they're the Filichumps, so...
Yeah, there was another B word there that I wanted to use, but I don't think we can. So we've got a great show lined up for everyone. We've got some news, and then we've got some cool music. We've got some reviews and TV things, and we've got a quiz. The quiz is about hurling this week because Kelly owned in the hurling today, I think.
Oh, very good.
I didn't watch it, I'm just kind of assuming.
Yeah, you're just from that area.
Yeah.
So your Facebook probably annoyed you a lot with it, was it?
No, I never get annoyed with Kenny things on Facebook. I get annoyed with World Cup things, but I got suckered into it last night. I actually watched the Holland and whoever else it was game.
The Holland? Oh, yeah, Holland, yeah.
And it's weird. Any game that I end up watching always goes to penalties.
Yeah, that's good.
Which is because it always makes it more exciting for me. I'm like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Very good. Yeah, I enjoy the World Cup also.
Yeah, it's for sports.
Yeah, I was watching the end of the Belgian-Argentinian game, and I really found myself pulling for Belgium, only for the fact that I just not even sure what that meant there, but something to do with pulling, so it must be sexual. But just because I counted up and they had more Spurs players than Argentina, so they became my team.
That works.
And then they got eliminated, and I was like, kind of explains because they've got lots of Tottenham players.
Never mind those guys.
Yeah.
Right, shall we play a song?
We shall. This is a rare treat for everybody. This is kind of a once in a lifetime that has happened. I have been chosen to pick the songs. And the reason I don't usually get chosen is because I actually don't like music. I know I never really listen to music at all. When I'm walking around, I'm listening to stand-up on my iPod. So I've decided to go with a compromise. I've got all comedy-based songs, all stand-up comedy songs.
Excellent.
The first one we've got is called The Humans Are Dead. It's from the Flight of the Conchords. This is a recording from their HBO special that was released alongside season 1 of their hit HBO show. So this is Flight of the Conchords, The Humans Are Dead. That was Flight of the Conchords, The Humans Are Dead.
That was really good.
It was. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Oh, we've got a comment in already. Back it in, Nate.
Who's commenting?
It's Gerald Fitzgerald. Humans Are Dead chorus always reminds me of System of a Down.
I don't get that reference.
Well, I've always thought Dara had a bit of the down about him, so I can see why he'd go there.
Yes, I can also see.
Well, thanks for commenting, Dara. If anyone else wants to comment or get into us, not get into us, contact us. You can get us on 083 44 666 55. You can text or call, but don't call. We don't want to hear from you. Twitter at LCCR1 or Twitter at the Filibusters. Email at studio@lccr.ie. Or Facebook, any of the Filibusters thing. The Filibusters Comedy Hour is the one we're looking at, but you can, if you go on any other
one. Go on any of them, it'll come up in our notifications. We'll get you.
Yeah, we'll get you eventually.
And if you want to send us in anything, Adam will make sure to give you a shout out and then immediately put you down, making horrible insinuations about you as a person. So, all the encouragement in the world there to get involved. Will we go on to some news?
And here's the news.
Now, a special treat again, since I've been given the memory stick. I figured with the theme of how the news usually pans out and the kind of articles we have, I've got a specific theme song for us now. Here's our new news headline, theme song. Dum 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 dum. There we go.
Here's the news.
Dum 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 dum.
First up, Garth Brooks is acting the goal.
What?
Yeah.
How?
Tell us all about that, John.
Yeah, Garth Brooks. Well, I assume everybody knows about Garth Brooks, but if you don't know, here's the basic gist. Garth Brooks put on tickets for one of his last tour of Ireland, I think it nearly was, and they were just a big hit. So everybody kept buying them, so we eventually put on 5 gigs. Now what's happened is the residents of Dublin have kind of fought against this, and now there's only going to be 3 gigs on. 2 of them have been cancelled, but Gareth has said 5 gigs or no gigs. So this is the controversy now. The appeal has been brought down. There isn't going to be 5 gigs. There's going to be 3 gigs. Is Gareth going to live up to his promise, lads? Is he going to say no gigs? Stephen Ryan just walked in and he looks flabbergasted. Not because of what I'm speaking about, just because he's a bit of a dullard in general.
I'm not even going to turn up his microphone.
Garth Brooks. I prefer to call him Gareth. There for a while when you know, do you remember when the first kind of thing where everyone was sitting outside looking for tickets for Gareth Brooks?
Yeah.
The amount of times people kept referring to him as Gareth was just hilarious.
He was literally a household name, yeah.
I remember we were coming up here one day when the tickets were on sale. The night before they went on sale, we were coming up here, and there was people brought out like their directors' chairs, and they had big rain macs on them draped over the chair, just sitting out. It was lashing rain. We were just going, oh, look at them comms.
Yeah.
Look at them just queuing up for Garth Brooks. But now he's saying, right, 5 gigs or no gigs. But it's not just like any slight inconvenience that 2 of the gigs are cancelled. 160,000 people now can't go.
It's hilarious, yeah.
But
of course it is hilarious to Stephen.
And if he goes to this a 5 or none, if no gigs happen, 400,000 people get no crack.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I hope he goes for none. I think the amount of people who would be sickened, everyone, it's a lose-lose situation for people who aren't me.
Yeah, it's a delicious troll if there's none.
The Vintners have got their backups about this. The Vintners, I don't know why they decided to step in the almighty thing that they are.
Who, the Vintners?
The Vintners.
Who are these?
The Licensed Vintners Association.
Oh.
Vintners is, the guys who own the pubs and control all the, the guys without whom prohibition would ensue.
And the men who stand in shadows with suits, I understand.
Yeah, and their hands out going, give me money for beer. And they have said that Ireland stands to lose, I don't know where they got this figure, 15 million euros.
I think that's pretty accurate. How many people are said to be going to it? 400,000, is it?
But it's okay.
First of all, the VAT from the tickets straight away, and then people are going out there buying loads of drinks at these things. They're probably going out that night.
Yeah,
it's a lot of money. I'm not sure if it's 15 million, but it's loads of money.
Apparently 70,000 tickets have been sold to people outside of Ireland, which means that 70,000 people would be descending on Ireland for it. Now, you take 62 euros for a ticket, which I'm sure a lot of that money will be going out of Ireland.
Of course,
but if you're coming into Ireland, you're not going to go home that night. You're probably going to get a hotel
on the hyped up charges in not naming anyone but juries.
And those tickets, you'd be surprised how much of that ticket money staying in Ireland. Ticketmaster, the amount of money they keep from those tickets is actually, it's a little bit scandalous at times. Like, they take a huge amount of their money. They're notorious for just taking. That's why ticket prices are actually so high. Is these days a lot of it is because of Ticketmaster or the equivalent to whatever country you're in. So a lot of money going out of the country. My thoughts on it were that when he was sort of announced that, when he said his quote of 5 gigs or none, I was talking to somebody and they said, well, isn't that so generous of Gareth saying 5 gigs or none? Because obviously they're going to buckle now, and he was so brave to say that. Thank you, Gareth, sticking up for those 2 people. He wants money. That's it. He wants money. And then he was also saying, I wouldn't see the point in coming over, if it'd be such an anticlimax at 3 gigs. How many gigs were you originally supposed to do? It wasn't 5.
Yeah.
No, it was 1, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, it just became astronomical that, it'd be an anticlimax if I exceeded all expectations and demand was so high that they actually had to cancel some of my gigs.
But let's bring it back for a minute, right? Because the reason it is, Dublin City Council are like, right, noise pollution, we signed a contract with Croke Park that you can only have 3 gigs in a year. I'm sorry, thinking down because we were talking about Darius on One Direction.
He's silly.
We've got another comment in from Sean O'Boyle saying you have the Downs. So
very good.
It's themed show today.
Directed at Dara. Let's add.
Anyway, so Dublin City Council have said that. We've got another comment in, and this is related. The Croke Park Residents Association are officially my heroes. Also, expletive you, Lahi. You tried to type. So the thing is, okay, so Dublin City Council only said they could have 3 concerts in Croke Park a year. That was the agreement. One Direction took 3 of them. Garth Brooks shouldn't have been in their first place. Now he's got 5. And essentially, if there's complaints coming from people who live in the Croke Park area. Oh, come on.
In fairness, the complaints coming from the people in the Croke Park area are kind of seem to be genuine enough. Now, in the past, they have really been irritating because what annoys me about the Croke Park residents is, lads, you moved into these houses. Did you not see that massive stadium?
Yeah.
How did you miss this when you were coming around viewing?
Okay, so here's the scenario. Stephen, you're the head of Dublin City Council. John, you are the head of the Residents Association on that road. Stephen first, do you allow it go forward?
Only if it goes for 6 days to annoy John.
John?
Oh, and I'm the residents.
Yeah.
What's it? Yeah, I can completely see where they're coming from. I'm like, well, no, I need to get some shut-eye, lads. Come on, I better cop on. We signed an agreement. But I do feel like they can be pestering Dublin City Council. Like, it actually struck home to me recently. I was doing a gig in the Loch Bar on Friday.
Ooh, Lochford.
Yeah. And I was getting ready to go to my gig, and I got a call from Dublin City Council, and they were like, John, look, the laughter levels are waking up everybody in Croke Park. They can't get to sleep. You can only do 3 minutes tonight. Everybody needs to get a bit of shut-eye. And I said, no, I'm doing 5 minutes, all right? Or else I'm doing no minutes. And they buckled for me, and I got to my 5 minutes, and I don't care if the people of Croke Park didn't get any shut-eye. So I can kind of feel Gareth's pain, but I've kind of put so much pressure on them publicly, they can't really buckle twice in a row. So Gareth, again, I'm sorry for putting you in this position, bro.
Okay, Gareth took up all our time for news. We've got 3 minutes left, but we've got 4 articles. There's one we have to get onto. I know it's going to take a long time to go through, but we can come back to it. Eamon Bradley and the Syrian Rebels.
Will you actually read that out in verbatim? Because I don't think we
don't have time to read the whole article.
We
It's
can do
really
justice to it,
It's
but
a
without
really long
actually.
Give us your cliff notes there, Adam, and give us a couple of posts.
Yeah. Make sure and get.
Okay,
get
so Ulster freedom fighter Derry man Eamon Bradley joined Syrian Rebels. They rebel against everything. Syrian Rebels in their brutal conflict. A Northern Ireland man has joined Syrian rebels in their bloody conflict after telling his mother he was going to Turkey for a holiday. Eamon Bradley is believed to have been in the war-ravaged country for a number of months now. The 25-year-old Derry's Creggan area has recently completed his guerrilla training and told his family and friends he is ready to fight and die if he has to. So I'm going to skip forward to the part where it just gets ridiculous. It goes from Syrian legitimate wanting to do something to small town Ireland, lads, cop on. Here's one quote from.
So one of my favourite transitions.
It says, "My ma and dad were wild roid last week. And my dad texted him. Oh, this is his brother. Yeah, ma and dad were wild roid last week. My dad texted him and asked about this religious crowd, and he said, "Listen, they're the ones we're against. We're fighting them." They're like, "Is he a sonny?" And he just went, "No, relax, ma. I'm the other one." And he said, "Don't worry," and insisted that Eamon is a good fella and not an extremist.
That's my favourite quote. That is just, yes! Like, there's that level of just dum exists. It makes me happy. I wake up in the morning. People are that stupid. It's gonna be a good day.
Oh, it gets worse, right? His brother kept going about Eamon, said he got into the Bible first, then he got into the Quran. He was obviously taken advantage of. We didn't know what he was doing up in his room for the past 3 years. I just don't understand how he got into it. How someone from up and around here got into it.
I just love that he was up in his room for 3 years and they had no idea what he was doing.
But it's the fact that the Bible was...
Never mind.
It's like the Bible was a gateway drug to the Quran and finally onto like Syrian extremism.
Yeah, it's just such... And you know something? Like, the story is genuine enough, but the article is just ridiculous.
And then it gets further. Now, again, when we explore the kind of ideas of fundamentalism as well, you don't drink, you grow your beard, you're very, very strict lifestyle. And then a pal of Eamon's goes, well, Eamon was always having a laugh and a load of drink. He was partying real hard and had a reputation as being a party animal. He was known for being a decent fella and a good lad. He never went completely overboard like some of those crowd. I often think he was a wee bit different to the rest of them. Like... What? There's a picture of this guy and they're saying, oh, he's sitting there with an AK. There's like, he has a couple of AKs and he's in the training camp and he's there smiling behind him, but one of them is pointed at his head. Like, how How much of a clue can you not have about the world around you that's like, haha, look at me, Ma.
But do you know what always amuses me? Them lads you see, and they're shooting into the air whenever there's some bit of trouble. They go on the news and they're shooting in the air, and nobody seems to think
Where those bullets
that those bullets are going to come down.
Yeah, but they're not going to come down with any kind of. They're not going to come down with.
Oh, they will, yeah.
No, they won't.
They go up so high they have to come back down again.
Of course, they come back down, but they won't come down with the speed of a bullet. They might annoy you.
No, they'll come back to much faster.
Oh no! People have died this way.
They go up. They slow down, and when they're coming back down, they're speeding. Imagine
the amount of people who died.
I don't
this
understand
way.
why I'm smiling at this news, but geez, I never knew that. I assumed they kind of would just like tap you on the shoulder. You'd be like, "Oh, the bird put on my shoulder. Oh, a bullet, grand."
No,
I always thought it'd be funny if when they did that, like a bird fell on someone. Like, oh, jeez.
No, they're like. You don't film Gravity, like when things crash land. Otherwise, airplanes would just float to the ground and you'd be sound.
Yeah, I understand the concept of gravity, but I always thought, but I assumed that it would come down not with as much speed, just because the speed of a bullet. I thought the force of a gunshot was more than the force of gravity. Turns out I'm wrong. In regards to this article, I actually feel like I can't make comment. It's too hilarious, and nothing that I can fabricate in my feeble mind can even top any of the real life article. Give it a read. It's on the Irish Mirror. I'd nearly read out the entire URL. It's that interesting.
Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to link it on our Facebook page. You can find it there.
Find it there. Okay, is that the news, lads?
Until then, that's the news.
Okay.
Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum.
Yes, people are dumb.
We might come back to some more news later because Donnacha's not here, so there's no one here to faff on about film for like half an hour.
Yeah.
So we might come back to that. But what have we now?
Okay, Stephen, you weren't here for the start of the show, but I'll give you a brief down that you made a big mistake outlining me as the person to select the music, someone who self-admittedly knows nothing about music and never reads music. I never read music, I don't listen to music. So I've picked all stand-up comedy songs from some of my favourite musical comedians. The first one was Fly the Conchords, The Humans Are Dead. This next one is the most recently released song from David O'Doherty. It's entitled Legs. It's going to be a part of his new Edinburgh Fringe show. And yeah, give it a listen. It's great. So that was David O'Doherty with his new song Legs,
No, it
which will
wasn't.
be part of his new... What?
No, it wasn't.
Oh no, Stephen's objecting to something I've said. No defence mechanism. Oh!
What do I do? What do
What do I do?
Here's what we do. We go to the quiz.
Quiz.
This week's quiz is about hurling, as we've already said, because Kilkenny cleaned up today and they were brilliant and they bet Dublin. And it was wonderful. So now this week's quiz is about hurling, so lads, get out. Oh, before you get out, we've got a comment. We've got another comment in, and your name is mentioned in it, John, so I assume. John's plan is right. The bullet will come down a lot slower due to terminal velocity air resistance. It can still be fast enough to kill you, though.
Okay, so we're both
It would
right.
come down. It would come down slower because it isn't being projected as well. But it would come kill you. Like it's not.
Okay, and it should be noted that Darius studies energy in UL, so he's actually would be the biggest expert on this. So, but I think so. We're both right, really.
No, it can kill you.
Oh yeah, I was wrong in that regard, but I was right thinking that it would come down slower and
It
the
came
fire
down
of the
slower,
gun.
yeah, but still fast enough. To
Okay, you were more right than me. Fine, whatever. That's useless information. I'm never going to fire a gun up into the air. So
No, but the next time you see it on the news, you're going to just lol.
Okay, so we're going to go to the quiz, lads. Get into the isolation sound booth of quiet.
to the cone of silence.
Dum 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 dum. Okay, hurling quiz. Thing with the quiz is beat the filibusters. If you can get more questions right than the fellas can, you've won. What have you won? Being sound. You're better than John Spillane. That's what you've won. So, if you know you're hurling, get into us on 083 44 66 55. Text on phone, we don't want to hear from you. Twitter at the filibusters, or like you've been doing all night, comment on the Facebook page. So, number one. When was hurling banned? Hurling was banned twice in... I'm not going to say the time span because you might get an answer, but it was banned twice. Give us both the years. Even guess, the closest person will get it. Number two. When was the first All-Ireland and who won? Number three. Who won the first All-Ireland in camogie? Number 4. In the 1890 All-Ireland final between Cork and Wexford ended in a strange way. What happened? And number 5. When was the first camogie All-Ireland? If you've got the answers to those, get onto us on any of the things above. Get onto us on Facebook, and you could beat the Filibusters. Right, boys, come on back in. They're in an isolation booth. How will they know? I will wave.
Okay, lads, I'm going to be fully honest. Unless one of the questions is hurling the one with the stick or the feet, I'm getting 0. 0 will be my score, and if I get 1, it will be a miracle. Stephen, are you confident? Do you think... how's your hurling trivia?
My hurling trivia is good, provided the questions that I know the answers to come up. If they don't come up, I'm invariably at a loss.
You're kind of... that's kind of a specialist in that sort of way. You specialise in trivia questions that you know the answers to.
That's exactly how it goes.
I consider myself more of a utility player. Blind luck is the name of the game. I shout random words and hopefully they make sense in the world.
So, movies.
Movies. We don't have Donica in, so we don't get our advanced press screenings this week. But I saw something very brief, but I felt it was worth discussion amongst everybody. The Inbetweeners 2 released its first official trailer this week. It's a minute and a half long, and it outlines the basic plot of it. The basic plot of the second movie is going to be that Jay is on a gap year in Australia, and he invites all the lads to come out because, as his usual lying self, he says that he's having the most amazing time of his life, and he's cleaning up the proverbial clunge, so that everybody should come out and visit him. So they decide to come out and visit him on a holiday, and antics ensue. They've made sure to note as well that most of the funny stuff has actually been left out of the trailer intentionally, although that could be just them lying to get my money.
Oh, they'll get my money anyway. I cannot wait. I am so excited.
I don't think I'm going to go to it.
Really, Stephen?
No.
Why? Is it not historical?
No, I actually really liked the Inbetweeners series. The film wasn't good. A sequel to a bad film is just going to be worse.
The sequel looks great. Look at the ad. It looks great.
I'm going to put the counter argument.
We're going to put the ad on Facebook too.
Yeah, do. Yeah, put the trailer up on Facebook there. Everybody have a look and give us comments what you think about the Inbetweeners trailer. But I think it's going to be brilliant. First time I watched the series, I started on season 3. That's when I kind of caught into it when it was playing originally. But then I caught up on it all, and I really liked the series. I wasn't the big, massive fan of it that everybody else was, mainly because I know people exactly like that in real life. So I felt like, well, I've seen this 1,000 times. I'm equally as pathetic as these people. So it was no real novelty to it. But then I'm after rewatching it all recently. I loved the film. I thought the film was brilliant.
Oh, I thought the film was so poor.
One of the funniest times I've been to the cinema. I absolutely adored the film. I watched it again this week. I've seen it about 4 times. I think it's a fantastic film. And the trailer looks like we're getting more of the lads' antics, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it might be the funniest film of the summer.
Also, they're grown up now.
No, they're not. They're not.
They're on a gap year. You don't get a gap year when you're 30. They're just after a thing.
Yeah, they're in college, but they don't look grown up either.
Yeah, no,
they look college-like. They look like the age they're supposed to be. Jay looks the oldest out of a lot of them, except whoever, your man with the fringe, he looks young. He looks a bit too young, to be honest. Simon Bird still looks young, and the other fella, he's kind of a lank, so he looks a bit old, but they all look like that the age they're supposed to be.
See, Stephen, John made a great comment to me the other day, because we were talking about this film, because we are excited about it, and he said...
Because we have souls and senses of humour.
Yeah, he said, okay, the series is scattered with so many great quotable moments, but actually the film is pretty much the same length as one whole series.
Yeah, that's the argument I made, that each episode of Inbetweeners is like 20 minutes. There's 6 episodes a season, so each season's about 2 hours long, a little bit longer. And the movie is 2 hours exactly. And so I do concede that there aren't nearly as many memorable moments or memorable quotes or funny moments in the movie as there is in a single season of The Inbetweeners. But as a stretched out episode of Inbetweeners, it's pretty fantastic.
It's really good, yeah.
I didn't think so.
No, it's not as good as the series. I will give you that, it's not. But that's because the series is just so much better than it needed to be.
And it's perfect for episodic format. It suits it. The short story, the setup, the cringy, the setting up to the cringy reveal of the lad in the front of the roller coaster or getting sick on on a kid.
Oh,
That
the
works
was
in the
brilliant.
20-minute format. But as a movie, everybody got their moment to shine. They all have their relationship. There's one thing, actually, I'm ranting a little bit, but there's one thing that is annoying me about this trailer. It annoyed me about the movie, it annoyed me about the show. Why are they putting Simon Bird with all these fit birds? The dude isn't like...
It's in the name.
Yeah, but he's socially inept. He's a weirdo. He's the biggest weirdo of the lot of them. He's the worst looking out of the lot of them. It's fine because he's an
he
uber
the blonde
talented
one?
dude. No, he's
No,
the
he's
fella, the main fella.
Oh, they're all
The
the
briefcase.
main- briefcase fella. Yeah.
He's the
He's
narrator.
definitely
He's the main fella. He narrates
Yeah,
the show.
he's the
like.
main one. Yeah. so-
Yeah. But he is. Why do they keep pairing him? In the trailer, he's there. He's next to the most beautiful girl he's had in any of the things. The girl in the movies, it's unbelievable. Manage the expectations. Just put him with a really funny, nice girl who looks attractive but doesn't need to be a supermodel. Like, it's just a bit silly.
So what message do you want to send out to people, John? Like, if you're an ugly dude, you've got no hope.
No, because the fella with the fringe, okay? In the series, he doesn't get Carly. Well, he gets her for a bit, but he has his girlfriend in the end of the third series. He's got the girlfriend he gets with in the movie. Those are two very attractive girls.
Yeah, but
they're also real girls. It's realistic that they're not supermodels. They're real normal girls. And so they had a funny back and forth. She could realistically like him. He could realistically like her. Now they've gone together. Will is just some kind of gremlin creature. And he's getting with Victoria's Secret's models.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous.
But that's the whole idea is Neil and Jay never get women because Neil
gets them the
is
whole
same.
time.
Yeah, but the ones who actually like him are it's the overall message is that personality wins out, and that's why he's getting the girl.
Yeah, but my argument is that he doesn't have a good personality. My argument is that he's like
But he's a nice dude. And that's
he
the
isn't
point.
a nice dude. He gives out about the girl in the wheelchair when she wants to sit down and on the sunbeds in the movie, and then says, "Well, she doesn't really need a chair, does she?" That's a horrible
he's
thing to
kinda
say.
He's kind of right though.
Gosh, just no, Adam. You are having a bit of a Tommy Tiernan moment today. But yeah, that's my only real squabble with Inbetweeners. And as you can tell, it bothers me quite a bit.
It's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, it's going to be brilliant.
Okay, Stephen, why isn't it going to be brilliant? Just because the first one was bad, but sometimes
No, it wasn't bad.
Okay, no,
Steven, just because Steven thinks it's going to be
leeway. I'm giving him leeway here. It's like sometimes sequels are even better than the first one.
Basically, the gist of English sitcoms that have become English sitcoms that have become films are they go off on holidays. They just do it. It happened with Harry Enfield.
Kevin and Perry Go Large. Another brilliant film.
But
Some
that's-
referencey films I love.
And the series is brilliant.
No, but
It's
Stephen,
just,
no,
again,
you're wrong because they have to be a holiday because there is nowhere else for those four guys to go. They can't go to college because they're not all going to college, and even if they do, they're not all going to the same college because some of them are thick, one of them is really smart. They're not going to be together. It has to be a holiday. If they're going to do a next one, it has to be a stag.
There's clear holiday reasons. First of all, it ups the stakes a bit. Second of all, it puts it in a limited time frame, so it's not the year at school, it's a week, so you can condense that down for a film. And the British culture have such a culture of the lads' holiday that it makes perfect sense. It's the logical transition from the lads' holiday is visiting their friend who's in Australia. Very prominent at this time. Makes perfect sense.
I think as well another thing that annoys me about the film is the fact that some of the subplots, all these people in love subplots, just annoy me. They get on my goat anyway.
Well, they shouldn't be anywhere near you.
Well, that's what the Inbetweeners is. It's about them when girls then you don't like every episode of Inbetweeners.
I know, but
at least
give me a
two
break.
of them have a love situation.
Especially that blonde chap.
Jay.
Which blonde?
Oh, that's his name, Jay. Yeah. Is there?
Well, Simon's kind of blonde.
There's the fella who's really.
There's a
he's
weird
always
looking
lying.
one, and there's
They're
one
all- they're weird,
who's
they're all
really
weird
awkward.
looking. They're all awkward.
There's the fella with the fringe who always gets really angry, but then there's are you talking about Jay, the fella who's disgusting and makes up all the lies?
No. I'm talking about the other one, the one who's not disgusting, makes up all the lies. The one who gets angry.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the plot surrounding him was just awful in the film. It just sucked.
I've lived that
No,
exact
really.
situation
That is
at
very
least
realistic.
6 times in my life.
It's a
where
very
I've had
realistic one.
nice girl who I actually fancied, and then be like, "Oh no, Collie." I've had that so many times. I thought it was a brilliant subplot. It's my favorite plot of the movie. Was that?
I thought that was awful. Also, that part where your man, the lanky lad, was dancing with
The old one.
That happens as well.
the old one.
You hate fictional things. Something
No,
that's
but
really,
it's, but
really
it's
true
not.
to
But
life,
it's not
and you're
fictional.
like,
Those are all things. First of all,
Yeah,
the
that's
majority of
happened
the
to
things
me.
that
You
happen
should
to the
like it
writers
because it's
happen
not
to them.
fictional. It's
And
really, really realistic.
I don't think there's a single thing in the sleeping in the anthill. Apart from sleeping in the anthill, everything that has happened in the Inbetweeners, within reason, has happened to me or one of my close 3 friends.
Well, I mean, that's happened to me except for the enthusiasm about the dancing. You know, but
You are very enthusiastic about many things. Dance certainly wouldn't be one of them either.
but basically, that had been done in the series, and it was kind of like, oh, you're regurgitating stuff. Stop doing that.
We've got a comment in here again. Gerald Fitzdarragh, I thought the movie was pretty good. I also don't think it's necessary for the Totty to be a supermodel. It's like Megan Fox, Shia LaBeouf. Also, I think either Simon Bird
Or the other
or
guy.
the other guy that was president of the Footlights. Dara, will you clarify for that? Who was president of the Footlights and the Inbetweeners? That's really interesting.
What's
Not
the
really.
Footlights?
Footlights is the thing from Cambridge, you know.
Oh, the
Some of
comedy.
the Pythons were, and then Stephen, Fry and Laurie were in it, and who else was it? Dudley Moore or something? Peter Cook were there.
They were in the floodlights.
Mitchell and
Well,
Wentworth
it's-
were in it too.
Yeah, it's just a comedy.
It's like the Illuminati of British comedy, though.
My mother was trying to get me. Wait, no, I walked in once and my mom had a few glasses of wine and she was talking to her friends and she said, I heard the quote saying, yeah, and John's really looking forward to doing his postgrad in Cambridge. So I had to interject saying, I have never heard once us at all talk about me going to Cambridge. And she said, we'll talk about tomorrow. And basically she had got a romantic idea in her head that, well, John, if you want to take the comedy seriously, you have to do a postgrad in Cambridge. It doesn't matter what course you do, it's to get the connection with that society. So that's how Illuminati it is.
I agree with them. I would have loved to have gone to Cambridge just to go to the Footlights. On Erasmus or something. They got the same in Oxford. I think it's just the Oxford Review.
Just on that topic, Stuart Lee is well worth listening to on his show. He discusses that kind of thing with in which one is it? Stuart Lee's Comedy Vehicle, and he discusses that kind of thing, and it's just interesting to listen to. He also has a brilliant rant about is it Ed Miliband or that other chap, the Prime Minister of England, what's his name? It's gone from me.
Cameron.
David Cameron. Yeah, and being in Oxford at the same time as him, and it's very, very, very well worth to listen to.
Shall we have another song?
We shall have another song. Following along in the themes of musical comedians, this next one we're jumping back across the pond to America to Bo Burnham, Stephanie Leonard's favorite comedian. Bo Burnham, he's been called kind of a comedy prodigy. That he had his first big special when he was 20 years old. He's had 2 specials and he's 23 now. He mixes lots of musical comedy with one-liners and weird one-man theatrical pieces. And this is his song entitled Art is Dead from his first show, What? So that was Bo Burnham from his comedy album and from his stand-up special. Words, I said What previously, that's his actually second show. Words was his first one, and I quite like that song. When we were talking about Simon Bird there, I forgot to say, if anybody is interested, if you want to see Simon Bird in his element, like even beyond the Inbetweeners, he's essentially his character from the Inbetweeners, but look him up, both of his clips from the Chortle Student Comedy Awards.
Is he in that?
Golden. Oh my god, like I've watched lots of Chortle student comedy clips before. Stephen's in the final and that's fantastic, and I think he's got a great chance of winning it.
I don't.
From what I've seen. I actually agree with you, but I'm just a nice person who wouldn't say that to his face. He's kind of zoned out at the moment so he can't hear me, but one of them, he talks about how he's reading, none of it is observational stand-up, all of it is comedy about being in the Chortle Student Comedy Awards. The first one is him talking about how the show is sponsored by Rebels, and then rules put into the show specifically because Rebels are sponsoring, and hilarious. And then the second one is about him A, wanting to win the competition, B, his experiences from the previous in the competition, and guilt trips, and just really funny.
Did he win?
What?
Did he win?
I'm not sure if he ever won. He's been in 2 finals. He got eliminated from the first time he did it, he got eliminated the first round. Second time he did it, finalist. Third time he did it, disqualified. you get to see why he was disqualified on YouTube. And then the 4th time, he explains the story behind him being disqualified, and then also other observation about the competition. The latter 2 are online and
4 times.
hilarious. Yeah.
Mad.
Yeah, and he comments
But
on
you
the fact that he
can't-
did it 4 times
But you
as well.
can't
yeah.
enter that 4 times, can you?
You can if you're a student for 4 years.
Yeah, you can enter it as many times as you want.
Oh, but I always mix up with a different competition that you can only enter.
Oh, yeah, you're thinking of, the So You Think You're Funny, yeah. Yeah, you can only enter that once.
Never mind them, lads.
Yeah.
Do you know what I should care about though? Events! Yay!
Events!
This week coming up in Limerick, we've got loads of great stuff, but it's all in the latter half of the week, so just wait till you're
For the
done.
weekend, so
Yeah.
nothing to cheer you up as you head into the depressing week.
Yeah.
Just more things to be upset that it's not the weekend.
Just wait till your dole comes through, live on the breadline till Thursday, and then have a great weekend. On Thursday, we've got the Filibusters Comedy Club in the Blind Pig with loads of funny boys. Stephen, will you tell us who the funny boys are?
Me.
And we've got John,
Yes, I'm going to be MCing. Donncha Tiernan.
Donica Tiernan,
His beard.
Sean Coughlin, and Jake Burke,
Yes. And then
and Gerald Fitzgerald.
Gerald Fitzdara. He's going to get to bring his Facebook commenting to the stage, and we look forward to it.
Yeah, it's kind of like an avant-garde performance. He just stands
Yes.
on there with his phone commenting on Facebook. So if you want to see that, you want to see Gerald Fitzgerald after all his lovely comments tonight, go see him on Thursday in the Blind Pig. Friday and Saturday is movies at the market in the Milk Market at 8 p.m. On Friday they've got Grease. I'm going home this weekend for a party, but I wish that I could go see Grease in the thing because I know everyone's going to be singing along. I know it's going to be unreal. And With Nail and I is on Saturday at 8.
Oh, I'd like to see
And
that.
that would be
in
brilliant.
I'd like to see that in a kind of a cinema atmosphere, just because I love the film.
And I'm also raging I'm missing that.
Yeah.
But I don't know which one I'm missing more. One of them is for a legitimate film means because I know that would be great to watch on a screen. But Grease, I like Grease, and it's also going to be unbelievable crack. Grease is what, like, people get like all hyped up about seeing the Rocky Horror Picture Show live. You should be more hyped up about Grease. That's going to be great crack.
Rocky
live.
Horror is a cult thing, though.
But so is Grease.
The Grease is mainstream.
It's just the cult is grannies and mammies.
Nah, yeah, it's a large
Grease is
cult.
very
Most
good.
people enjoy
I've
Grease, in
seen
fairness.
Grease performed live, and
I was in Grease.
Really?
Yeah, I did the stage production of Grease. I always forget that
I worked in Donkey
things.
Ford for 2 years.
Were you Danny?
No, I was generic guy in the background. I
Okay.
actually was when I went to see the movie Les Mis. It was during the Master of the House song. We're into an hour into the movie probably at this stage, and that's when I realised I was in Les Mis, which was another one of my dum moments.
Also on Saturday, you can see the Hot 8 Brass Band in Dolan's Warehouse. These guys are, no pun intended, it's a great name because they are hot. They're 8 different kind of brass.
First of all, pun intended. There's no way you were going to use the word hot, regardless
There's
of
only
what their
once I
name
said it,
was.
I was like, oh,
They're hot.
They are. They're 8 guys who are on brass instruments and they do a little bit of electronic stuff as well. But the interesting thing about them is they're all brothers from the same dad, but 8 different mothers.
Oh.
They're cool. And on Saturday and Sunday,
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, that was a strange non sequitur there.
yeah, but they are. I really like them. Check them out. They go onto YouTube and get their cover of "Sexual Healing" by Marvin Gaye. It's amazing. It's got the best bass line in anything ever. I do believe.
Where are they from?
Murca, I do believe.
All
I
over the
think
shop,
it's,
really.
I think they're kind of from the south, that kind of area, Louisiana around.
I love they were all from a different state.
Yeah.
They had the
And-
Minnesota one, and then they had the Southerner one, and
And on
those are
Saturday
bad
and
accents.
Sunday, you can see a play in the Savoy Theatre called I Do. Now, this is actually going to be a really interesting play because it's done with 6 different kind of sets, as we call them, and it's all 10 minutes before a wedding. So you see what happens in different rooms 10 minutes before a wedding. So you got the bride, you've got the groom, you've got the what you call him, the best man who's trying to get with the bridesmaid, and it's just all 10-minute sequences before a wedding starts. It sounds really cool. It's in the Savoy Theatre on Saturday and Sunday. Which
I'm
is-
going to go see that on Sunday. Sounds fantastic.
It sounds really cool. So go see that.
As well as the Filibusters comedy and in Blind Pig on Thursday. That's the best thing.
That's the best thing.
That's
Yeah,
the best
that's-
thing. Especially my bits.
I'm great.
Well, your bits are great, John.
Thank you.
What do we have now? We have...
I like that.
I like that.
Oh, I like that.
John, you've been like kicking butt in the show today. Would you like to introduce I Like That?
Okay then, here we go. I'm in the big boy chair, I'm going to say it. Our good friend Stephen Ryan has a particular set of likes and dislikes. His tastes are very odd, and it's a real challenge to try and guess the things that he likes and the things he dislikes. And he's got a great way of saying it. If we were to say something random like, something Stephen might like, Adam?
Marbles.
Marbles, he'll say?
There was nothing random about that. You asked him a question and he answered it with a choice that he made. That's not random.
Do you like
Just say the thing, you dancing monkey. Say it!
What am I to say?
I like that.
I like that.
Okay, then. And then something that he might dislike, Adam?
Racism.
Or racism. We say that a lot. Yeah. Well, Stephen?
I don't like racism.
He doesn't like racism. So that's I like that, basically. Me and Adam will compete to try and see who gets the most I likes. We've got 3 goes each. I win quite a bit, but that's because I like to pander to Stephen. And we'll see how we do. Adam?
Okay, cup of soup.
I like that.
TV to film adaptations. In general.
I don't like that.
When parts of saints' bodies go on tour because they're holy and people gather around them.
I like that.
Musical comedy.
I don't like that.
Emerald sweets that your granny always had at Christmas.
I like that.
Okay, I'm determined to get 3 I don't like that in one show. I've never achieved it. Roundabouts.
I like that.
You are so unusual. No. Musical comedy. Oh, laughing with music. I don't like that. Oh, your favorite TV shows becoming movies. Oh, I don't like that. Nuisances known as roundabouts. Oh, I like that. I love being inconvenienced and having to go into second gear.
That's because he's a massive troll.
Yeah, he is, in fairness.
He's a huge troll. Tell him about the troll you made.
You're like Bizarro Superman.
Let's get mixed media on this. You trolled the radio one time. You trolled a different radio station in a car.
What was this now?
I can't remember. You were listening to the radio on something and they asked a question and you just trolled them.
No, that was actually my brother.
Same difference. Yeah,
well, it was actually brilliant. It was a history show on News Talk, and they were talking about their favourite Irish films, and people were texting in, and there was a big kind of a discussion about films. It was in depth enough, and they were talking about one of them was Darby OGill and the Little People. And Richard texted in saying that I felt that the film Darby OGill and the Little People dealt very well with the plight of the oppression of the little people. And the way it was worded, it obviously came up, and whoever was reading them out just kind of looked at the screen, saw, okay, this is probably a legitimate point. I'll read it out, read it out, and the lady who he was discussing films with was just like, yeah, well, I don't think that it was actually a documentary film.
It's fantastic.
It was very, very enjoyable.
Yeah,
okay, Adam,
like
what do we have now? Quiz
what we have
results,
now is our quiz results. So you haven't heard it, the listeners have had it. This is your time to try and beat the filibusters. So lads, I'm going to put the questions to you. Don't be looking at my answers, yous idiots. Number 1, hurling was banned twice. When was it banned? Bonus point if you can say why.
The penal laws was one of the reasons.
Penal.
It was banned in 1384.
So close. 1366.
1366. Was it King Edward?
It was banned under the Statutes of Kilkenny due to it gaining popularity with the Normans.
Yeah.
Now the second one. The second one, I'll be disappointed if you don't get this one.
The
vaginal laws.
1650.
No. 1918.
Was it?
Oh, banned in 1918 because of perceived nationalistic elements. Number 2, when was the first All Ireland and who won?
1887. It was held in Birr, and
you know where it was held, and you don't know the winner.
You see, I keep jumping. Limerick won the first football. I don't think it was Tip, but I'm going to say Tip.
It was Tipperary.
Was it Tip? Yeah, okay.
Number 3, who won the most All Irelands in Camogie?
Angela Downey from Kilkenny had a heap of medals, so I'm going to say Kilkenny.
No. Oddly enough, because they never do well in the hurling, Dublin. They've won 26.
Oh.
This is actually a great one. In number 4, in the 1890 All-Ireland final between Cork and Wexford ended in a strange way. What happened?
What year?
1890.
The goalposts came apart.
No. Both the Cork team and manager left the pitch, claiming the Wexford boys were too rough. The officials agreed with them and awarded the match to Cork.
What?
Yes.
Cork were winning by a point anyway, and apparently the Wexford lads were just being a shower of gals, so the Cork lads were like, right, we're leaving. And the referees went, fair enough, you win, Cork.
That's very unusual.
Yeah.
There was also a year whereby there was a thunder and lightning All Ireland. I think it was in the 40s or something, and it basically just the heavens opened, and I remember going to the museum in Dublin, and they had a room, and it basically to reenact the thunder and lightning. It was a mad kind of an exhibition, but it intrigued me nonetheless.
And the final one, when was the first Camogie All Ireland? Probably later than you think. Well, maybe not.
Well, I was kind of debating there in my head whether it was, I'm going to say 48.
32.
32.
You've got 2.5 points. You've won.
Well done,
Yay,
Stephen.
Filibusters.
With me and Stephen won. Very good. Team.
So that's the quiz, Filibusters.
What did I get the half point for?
The one that was like 2 questions. That's like, when was it banned?
Yeah, you got
A half, yeah.
yeah, you got a half point for saying why it was banned, but you didn't get any of the
We
years.
got a half point, Stephen. It's
Yeah.
team sport, okay?
So now we are on to our pondering.
Pondering.
John, clean it up again. What's our pondering this week?
Yeah, that's right. I've also picked the pondering, lads. I'm the Filibust of the week. And my pondering is, do you guys have any guilty pleasures? We're not talking, Jimmy Savile convicted guilty. I'm talking more so like...
Oh, phew. That was close.
You were about to get exposed, Stephen.
Yes.
Because I cannot
Much
tell
like
a
Jimmy
lie.
Savile in a hospital.
Oh, that works on so many levels.
Yeah,
Well done.
yeah.
Great.
But guilty pleasures, lads, whip them out.
Yeah, that's one of mine. No, I often feel weird about the term guilty pleasure because you don't really feel guilty about it.
Yeah, I've
You know
got
what
one.
I mean?
I've got one. The guilt.
Did you actually feel bad about it?
Yeah. Me today, I don't feel guilty about any of my anything I enjoy. I'm very kind of okay. Look, I recognize my leisure is very niche in everything I enjoy, and I'm usually considered a weirdo by people I talk to. But something for the longest time I struggled with guilty wise was wrestling. When I got back into wrestling from about 3rd year to 5th year, 6th year, I felt so guilty about it. Any time that I could hear like footsteps outside with the room I was watching the wrestling in, like my parents and stuff, I'd switch it off because I was afraid that they'd like slag me about watching the
John
wrestling.
switches to pornography.
Yeah,
I'm normal.
But it actually got so bad that my father was convinced that I was watching porn, and like he confronted me about it and removed the porn channels from the skybox because he was convinced that I was like some kind of porn maniac who would come home every day after school and watch porn when really I was just watching wrestling.
Okay.
Oh, God.
See, most people would expect me something like ABBA, because ABBA is a lot of people's guilty pleasures. I love ABBA, but I don't feel guilty about it. Well, one of the things you might feel guilty about, a guilty pleasure, is the begrudgery you take in someone kind of failing.
Yeah.
That's a guilty pleasure.
It's just the
for
purest
me.
pleasure.
Yeah, like
man,
someone,
really.
like someone maybe from like home Kilkenny, if they do something and they're so earnest and they're like, oh, I'm in a band or whatever, and their band end up being terrible, like. And I feel
Germany have a
guilty about that.
word. German. There's a word in German for Schadenfreude. Is it?
Schadenfreude. I know that,
Yeah.
but
we've got a better word.
What?
Begrudgery.
Boom. And Stephen, what's your guilty pleasure?
I don't know. Again, is it really a guilty one? But I absolutely love getting my hair washed by somebody else.
That's guilty. That is
do you
very
feel guilty about that though? Do you feel even the face? Actually, you made an awkward face when you said that, so you do feel weird about it.
The amount of pleasure I get from it, and it's not a weird pleasure. It's just I really, really like it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it disproportionately, I think.
But that's a good pondering. I like that.
I like that. Okay, is that the show, lads?
That's it for this week. Thanks very much for listening. You can get us again at 9 o'clock. You can get us at 9 o'clock then next week, or you can come and see us live in the Blind Pig on Thursday at 9:30. Do that and be sound and stay away from yourself.
Stay away from yourself.
Have you got no homes to go to?
Oh, have I introduced that?
Yeah, and one last song.
Yeah, one last song, lads. Comedy songs was the theme tonight, so a comedy song, I think the hit comedy song of all time has to be by Ms. Rebecca Black, Friday. My particular comedy in it is coming from the fact that it's actually Sunday evening, and this is a song celebrating how much of the weekend you've got left to enjoy. So enjoy celebrating the fact that you've got work in the morning.
Who else have we got? Oh, John Spillane. Who else have we got? Oh, John Spillane. Not the folk singer. This lad couldn't sing a note in his head. No, this lad couldn't sing a note in his head. He's useless. We'll use him for the job he has done. We'll use him for the text machines. You're very welcome along and thanks for listening. You're very welcome along and thanks for listening.